Okay, so first I gotta do my hair. So, I can't even believe the difference. I think it has been a month or something. I don't know. The last time I washed it with that weird clay stuff, and I didn't like. I felt so. I had to put so much oil. It was so dry, and then that happened with the baking soda, and I was thinking the vinegar rinse, maybe do like a vinegar rinse once a month or something. I'm not sure. At this point, to me, it is the essential oils in the spray and then the other stuff. Like you got to figure out your own blend. And so mine, I don't even remember all the stuff. Like there's rosemary that's really good for your hair. Cloves are good for your hair. There's a whole bunch of different stuff. And so I made my own concoction and it smells good. And then it really gives your hair so much body. I can't even believe. And my ponytail has got, I'm telling you, just letting your hair go and have its naturalness is, I think that's what we all need to do for the health of our hair, I swear to God. And I mean, the things that come to me, like when I'm sitting there thinking about stuff or whatever, and they'll show me like a bear. It's like, could you imagine if we were like, oh yeah, we got to wash that bear's hair. You know, we got to get it in our head that we are an animal, like that we have, you know, there's certain things of us. Like, it's like they want to, it's kind of like the people want to put on clothes to give themselves, you can see the stuff. Okay. I'm just going to start with that word. Sometimes I wish that this could just go so much easier and all the words would just pop in real quick. So it's like people get dressed up, give themselves rules and stuff so that they can kind of validate themselves. Like, you know, we're better than other animals. We're not animals. We're highly sophisticated, you know, all this stuff. But people are going to find out like how unsophisticated really that they have been, and how much they live in ignorance and fear and like primitive belief systems. And so the thing yesterday, of course, right after I finished, you know, it came right into my head, and I was like, oh, I don't think I would have got it, but it did go exactly with it. And I almost had started to say it earlier, but then I added in. But so it was a woman, and I had talked about this a long while ago because of the struggles with my eyes and everything. And like if you just start watching my videos, there's a lot of stuff that you won't know, like about me or the motivation or what, any of the stuff about why I started speaking out or any of this stuff. And but for my eyes, so I'll just do like a little bit of background so it will make some sense because, I don't know, there's almost 2,000 videos. So when I went into the hospital and I was a nurse and I was a workaholic nurse, and I had left my marriage that I had raised my kids in. I went back to nursing school so I could leave my husband, and so it was like a whole process. And so I got to the point where I left him and I was a nurse, and I was living like a selfish life. I was like a shopaholic, workaholic, and I worked and worked and worked. And then of course, when it was my time off, well, I should do something for myself, shouldn't I? And so, you know, and I had teenage girls, and the one that doesn't ever talk to me now, I think that really there's a lot of stuff that really affected her, you know, the part of my own shame, of my own selfishness, and the stuff that I have to look at of my own self and accept myself. Yeah, I wasn't the best mom for her. She needed something different. I was trying to parent myself as a child through her. I thought what I needed as a child, it must be what she needed. And so that's why I talk about that stuff, is because it's important to recognize what your kid needs. It has nothing to do with what you need. You're still trying to heal your own wounds from when you were a kid. And it is important for you to tune in to your child's needs, not your own needs. And it's a very hard thing to do when you are wounded, because your perception, how you perceive life, holds you to that degree. Oh yeah, I still didn't do the eye thing, the eye drops. Okay, I gotta say it before I get up there, because I don't want to forget again. Because the eye drops were such a big thing in mine, because when I went in the hospital and they gave me the brain injury, the anesthesiologist did, and then the nurses, the doctor, everybody covered it up. And even in court, it was, even in my court trial, it was like half the fucking hospital administrators were in there. But I swear to God, they pay off fucking juries. I swear to God, it's such a corrupt system. And so they're allowed to lie. They can lie. You know, they don't have. And the concept of swearing on a Bible, well, when other people have to believe that meant something. Fucking ridiculous. And so, but it damaged my eyes, and I didn't know it at the time. I mean, I was just dealing with the brain injury. I didn't even know the eye damage until a couple of years later. And then when I very first got diagnosed, they were telling me my eyes were deformed, that they thought I had some deformity from birth. And I'm like switching around to this doctor, that doctor, and they're looking at my eyes and trying to figure out what to do, and telling me that it acts as glaucoma, and that I was going to start going blind, and the room was going to start closing. And if you look about what glaucoma is. And so they were having all these treatments, all this shit I constantly had to do. And then finally, I had 3 different doctors and totally different things tell me that it was the brain injury. It was the having no fluid in my brain for so long is what damaged my eyes. And because it's a closed system, I've talked about it before. The CSF goes through your brain, goes back down your spinal cord. It's like this system. And so when there's no fluid in there, and it's a pressurized system, and so the pressure was sucking my brain out through the back of my skull, and that's called brain herniation, and mostly you die from it. But you don't die unless you're supposed to die. That's the thing that people have to start really understanding. And so I damaged my eyes. And so through all these different doctors and bullshit things that they want to try and do, and I just saw that they were just making my eyes worse and worse and worse and worse. And I especially saw it right before 2020, because I just got their latest, greatest treatment, and it caused my eyes to be 10 times worse. And so I've been so fed up with the medical and stuff. So, and my whole story with the medication and the pills and all that, like, I mean, it's been, a fucking ordeal with the Western medical. Is like, it hit me in every way possible. I mean, if I were to sit there and trust those motherfuckers, I would have to be, a loon. Like, it would be ridiculous for me to trust these people at this point. So I'm going to speak my truth. And, but part of the thing with the eyes, they were always telling me I had to use these drops. You have to use these drops. And I'd try all these different drops, and I would have all these reactions to these drops. And I kept thinking, it's always where these things, and I have these beings, that speak to me and tell me things. And so I look at things differently than how some people look at them. Like, I'm always suspicious about so many things. And so now, and I was really suspicious about the cysteine, because they have even been saying, that they've got the neobots or whatever on their label, some kind of new technology, or I don't remember how it's labeled, because I saw it a couple of years ago. And so I was telling, like, my mom's still using drops. She still gets goddamn shots in her eyes and shit. And I keep telling her, stop doing this shit. They are making you go blind. And her eyes just get worse and worse, but she won't listen to me because she's convinced the doctors are telling her the truth. And oh man, fuck. Cannot believe the fucking loyalty and dedication people have to these motherfuckers. It's so fucking programmed. It's like, don't even ask a goddamn question. Just give them your undying loyalty. Trust any goddamn thing they say out of their mouths. Don't even question a goddamn thing. What the hell has happened to people? It's like one thing that really stood out to me too is, okay, let me finish side drop thing. Because a woman the other day, she got the drops. Her mom had to get the drops. And just 16. And so the mom said, would you look at these under your microscope for me? And the daughter was like, okay, that's weird, but okay, sure. And so she looked at it, and it was full of bots. She could see them in there. And she shows the pictures and stuff. You can see them. And that is what I have been saying for a while. This stuff is in everything. That is so ridiculous. These people with pure blood. What the hell? What environment do you live in then? We all need to go if you're pure, because we have been poisoned for our whole entire lives. So if you're pure, well, then you're magic. So, but you got to look at that, like the ego behind that. You know, so don't do your detox. You're pure. Don't worry about a thing. Don't worry about all the poison. And see how they are putting it in and see how the CIA knew there would be that ego. They knew they could slide stuff in right underneath their nose. They knew they could just put it in the food, the water, the air, and everything else. And those people would just run around with their egos saying how perfect and smart they are. And that would be the whole thing, the focus, instead of, oh, God, we got to watch out, man. They're fucking out for us. We better start fucking paying attention to what we're consuming and take care of ourselves and stuff. No, let's don't do that. No, that'd be too fucking smart. Let's just go all in our ego and talk about how fucking pure we are and how fucking great we are and how smart we are and how all these other people are so stupid. It's like you can see what's coming. Well, I can see what's coming. But maybe it's because, you know, I went through it. I went through the dark night, and so I see it coming for all these people. And they're all locking themselves in. Man, I swear to God, I can't even believe. Because yesterday, there was that video, and so my one daughter, you know, thinks yeah, this is so funny how this is all going to play out, I think. But so she was like, I saw this video. It was another flat earth thing. Only this one was somebody talking about the CIA files, and it has what the earth really is, you know, the toroidal field, and they explain, you know, because they know, you know, it's not globed out spinning in space. That was all made up. Even if you look up what NASA stands for in the where it comes from, like Greek or Latin or whatever, and it's something like the Great Deception or something like that. So you can look up about that. But so I sent her this video, and I said, now do you think the earth is flat? And she said no. Like, she thinks it is the most ridiculous thing that I would even try and say something about the earth is flat. It's so crazy how people get themselves so convinced of their own reality. And she's the one who's never watched the Truman Show. Even my one daughter, when I said, y'all need to go watch the Truman Show. And the one daughter is like, I watched that a long time ago. You gotta go watch it again. Something's not clicked. I'm like, go watch it. And this one daughter, she hasn't watched it ever. And so, you know, I want her to, but anyways, you know, who knows? But I said, I can't remember what I said first, but I said, you know, I said, this is just going to be so weird. You just have no idea what you are in for. I said, really, it would really be good if you just journaled. Like, start journaling for the next couple months. Journal every night. Because I'm very curious about how this is going to play out. Like, I am really curious, seriously. Like, as this occurs, I said, I really want to talk to you through this. It's so bizarre. It's so bizarre for these people. They're so locked into this false reality, and they're so sure of it. And when this all flips, and it's flipping so slow, that's the thing. It's flipping so slow. So you can sense the humiliation they're going to have. It was right under their nose. And they're so busy being distracted or whatever it is. I don't know. But it is going to be, like, it is going to be nuts, these people. And it's, you know, I hope it's not, I mean, I hopefully have said enough things that they're not going to just, fall apart. But I know that there's going to be a huge part of that. And it has to do with being tricked, not seeing the truth, the crazy people being the ones that were right and stuff like that. And that is going to be something I think that is really how they show me. And so it's like, like we have influencers, say. We have like the Kim Kardashians and shit of the world. This fake, phony, leading you down the wrong path. Like I just saw this ad on my TikTok algorithm. Is so fucking ridiculous. And it's so ridiculous. I get as many views as most people get for likes. It's so fucking frustrating. But this, let me think what it was. Because this woman, okay, well, I don't know where I'm going with that then. It would probably just pop in there somewhere else. But, anyways, let me get back onto the track of what I was. So, the people who, and I see it all the time on TikTok as it is occurring for some people, but to not see, I feel like, I'm hoping I've said enough things that it's going to be like, oh, this is what she was talking about, but there's still going to be, this is about, I don't want to say ego death, but it is essentially ego, because your ego won't die. It's still going to be there. You're still going to have, it's like the recognition. It's like, man, it's like this recognition in life of seeing your own dark side and acknowledging your ego that's out of control, kind of. So it's kind of like you just have to see it for yourself. That's this whole thing that's going on about this opportunity to see yourself. It's like a giant mirror. And, but, it is the person who has to be focused on that. And, man, there was a couple of things that, because the person has to be focused on, seeing their true selves in order to heal their true selves. But, their ego also gets them to look at everybody else and focus on what's wrong with them so that they can feel secure with themselves. And so you have to override those systems in order to really see yourself. And to me, it's kind of like the universe will take everything else away so you won't have anything else. And so I think that is a part of this giant collapse is, that's why I feel like it has to go through the giant collapse first. Although yesterday when I was out walking, the sky stuff, and when you hear these videos of these people catching the I don't know, they call it the trumpets. It is weird. It's weird sounding out there. I don't know. It sounds like mechanical or whirring. It is weird sounding. And so, I don't know in this Truman Show world what we're about to witness, but I feel for sure like when the sky opens that, the water thing, I don't know if we're going to all of a sudden be showered with a bunch of water. It could be. The other day I saw a plane going up in the sky and the thing going behind him looks so much more like what goes behind a boat than anything else. It looked like a wake. It was weird. And but I know that everything is like this plasma. Even yesterday I saw this guy explaining about the sun and the heat and all this stuff. I don't think the sun is hot. I think, and it's weird too, is because yesterday I was sitting outside and the sun touches you, it burns your skin off. You can't look at it with your eyes. It's impossible. And it burns your skin off if it touches you. But as soon as it goes behind the tree, it is cold. It's literally cold in my yard. And if the sun's not on you, touching you, it's cold. And, which is very unusual to me, because when I was a kid, especially growing up in the South, but even all the time, even up in Washington State in the summertime, it would just be warm. Well, there was a house I lived in that was in the woods, and it was cold, unless I was out in the sun. So it was the same with that too. But I don't know. I mean, there's so many places you go and it just warms up everything, the air and everything. And in Texas, and right now in Texas too, there's a giant heat wave going through all down there down by Texas, and it's supposed to get up to like 127. And I don't even know if people have got their power back on, or I don't know what's going on. It's just like, fuck, dude. Texas has hit one after another. To me, it's got to be there's just a lot of corruption there, which makes sense. It was right at the border, so there was people who got in on the money scheme of like what you make off of, we know what goes on there. And so there's people who got in on it. And so there's a really toxic energy there that's being purged out. And there's certain things that people, well, you got to remember too that people are there from their past lives. And you don't even know, like, you don't even know what all those could be. All the stories playing out there. But the general energy has got a negative charge energy or something that's being purged out. It's like a lot of darkness. And all that darkness is like got a surface. And so it's like quakes the earth. And because it's like this micro, macro kind of expression as the energy moves through and out. And it has got to move through the people too. And so people are centrally located. That's why it was like before when everybody was like panicking, oh, maybe I should move here, maybe I should move there, I just got to go. But it's like, where? I mean, every place is unsafe. Like you think, oh, that would be a good place. And then they get hit. And so to me, what always stands out, what they show me is we are where we're supposed to be. That we are exactly where we're supposed to be because of something with where we are a part of, the energy that is purging out in different places. And so it is, but there's going to be a shuffle, there's going to be a lot of movement that will come, but it is just this healing part that is going on. And so everybody is where they're supposed to be. Unless your guides come in and tell you, like mine keep opening up. But to me, that is to keep the desire alive, to keep me motivated, to keep me focused. It's like the signs along the way. But to me, I know for sure when I'm supposed to go, it will open up. The door opens up. You don't have to push it open, shove it open or anything. It will just open up. So if doors are not opening for you to relocate, then, I think that you are where you're supposed to be. They'll move you, the universe, when you're supposed to be someplace different. And I could take the signs as, my kids, like, oh, just come here and sell your house. Oh my gosh. That was so weird of a dream. That just came into my head. That is so weird. I didn't even remember that. My dreams, like lately, is like they're not what I would call dreams. It's just like I'm just up, still living, still interacting with these people and doing things. Like I said, it was just like one of the days I'm walking outside and the sky split, and part of it was dark and part of it was light. And it was like I knew what was coming. And the sense I had in the dream was I needed to get home. I knew what was coming. And, but last night, this dream, my daughter was here and she was telling me to give her my house and stuff. It was this really weird, long thing. I totally forgot about that. That is so weird. I don't even know what the meaning of all that is, but so when they're telling me, move here, get a van, and she's sending me things and stuff like that, and sending me like a van, a travel van and stuff like that, like that I could get so I could go and travel around and stay in places. And, but there would be something else, not just her sending me a picture. Like the desire is already there. Like the desire is already there. So then it's like the action going towards your desire. But you can't just automatically assume. This is where people are getting all fucked up with manifestation. I mean, there's so much. It's kind of aggravating to me because there's so many of these people who try and act like they're such super spirits and stuff, but they're all just this about manipulating energy, controlling the 3D and stuff like that. And that is just not how I see things at all. My thing is about being in communion, in harmony, and not just trying to boss around, like, boss around the trees, boss around the air, boss around this, boss around that. And this one girl even was like, like, I don't remember how she said it, but basically, like, I'm the top of the food chain. I want the weather to change. The weather will change. And I will sit here and I'll demand it and it will change. And then I will go on my walk. And it's just like, I don't know. I guess that's a way to look at things. It's a way like, but to me, I feel like those were the things of the lifetimes where we lived as like witches and stuff when we were trying to understand about this environment. And so in those lifetimes, you learn about the importance of harmony and not control, that there's a rebound, there's a repercussion, and you go and trying to interfere, the repercussion will fall back on you. And so it's important to understand about energy and not trying to manipulate it and control it and demand it and stuff. I don't know. Everybody's is their own fine line of your place in the world. You're creating that place in the world. And I don't even know how to explain the thing that I'm seeing. You got to just ask him to show you pictures in your own head, because the pictures, like I said, like I could explain what a picture looks like, but it would make no sense. A guy standing in a yellow room, but I can completely understand what they're showing me when they show it. So that's why you got to have them show you pictures you'll understand, because some of the things I don't know how to explain it, but I can understand it. And so you can have that same thing. And, but anyway, so I just find it aggravating. And it was also, all these people trying to push people to manifest, and it's all about this control of the 3D. Well, if you're trying to break free from the 3D, then why the fuck are you trying to control it? That's why I even was saying, don't go get the AMP books and focus on what's inside your body, because that's all fake. So why focus on it? What you need to focus on about your body is learning how to use your mind to heal it. And that is all possible. And it has a lot to do with frequency and stuff. I just saw this woman is a part of some kind of studies. There's something about frequency and sound healing, and the voice, and how important the voice is. And like our voice holds a tone. And the tone is, you can be around somebody and you feel it. Like their voice can be like really scratchy, or it can be peaceful, or it can be calming. That's why they use certain voices to read books and stuff. And so you have these certain tones in this voice. But this woman involved in this study was talking about her son, who was in a motorcycle wreck and his legs were crushed. And they said he would never walk again. And so she was using the sound. Well, the sound started making his legs heal. The sound was her voice. And then his kneecap was crushed. His kneecap even started growing back. And so in their study, what they're doing, but she said her son isn't doing anymore because his girlfriend gets creeped out by the sounds. So he said, I'd rather have a girlfriend than a kneecap. So he's focusing on, he isn't using it for his healing. But so she said that they've got some other clients who are, and people are growing parts back. Just like what I said is going to be in the med beds. And people think it's so fantastic, but people are growing parts back and they're not even in a med bed, because it has to do with this. That's why I keep saying it's something about the frequency, but it is, as we have to get some more control of our minds. Like, I don't think the beds are going to work if you have no control of your mind and you're just expecting the bed to just fix you, like save you. You have to get control of your mind. And this is what I think. I could be wrong, so I mean, something that has been shown to me and shown to me and stood out to me and stood out to me was the importance of this healing and getting control of your mind. And so, to me, while I talk about it and talk about it and talk about it, so, but so there was some other things that came in and I wanted to try and, man, I feel definitely weird. I'm sure there's weird things with the energy, and I see so much tension, man. Like, there's tension around. Like, people are stressed. That's what I was saying yesterday. Like, where they said that people who are in the 3D were going to start becoming very uncomfortable. It was going to become like unbearable. They were going to be forced to have to face what they need to face. And the 3D would not be able to be a distraction. And I can see it occurring in just relationships. Relationships just become, just stand out what's wrong. And, and then that's where people got to realize that a lot of relationships were used as like safety nets. They weren't really good for you. You just thought it was all you could get. It was all you deserved. And so you just take what came your way, and then you get in it, and it's not good for you. It's not fulfilling. There's nothing going on there. And so, but the being doesn't want to take a risk, take what they think, well, at least I got something. Other people have nothing. And so they hold on to something out of fear rather than, and to something I used to tell my girls all the time when they were little, when they would, a boy situation or something like that. And I would always be, you can't be spending all your time with Mr. Wrong, because how are you going to know when Mr. Right comes along? And that is what a lot of people got to realize. And it kind of goes with the same thing as what I was talking about the other day, is like how you get in bad relationships and then you just sit there waiting for someone to rescue you. And the importance of you rescuing yourself. Another thing too I wanted to say is, because I'm always saying, like, I've been celibate for 6 years. And yesterday I was like, I don't think celibate would be proper. I think it would be more of like I've been asexual for more like 6 years. More like, a relationship to self and getting to know myself, having a love affair with myself, and promoting myself, understanding myself, acknowledging myself. Like, everything has been about me. And, so, and I had said that, a long while ago, girls should be getting to know their own bodies before they're going out and just being a blow-up doll for some teenage boy. And, but, that's a lot of big changes have to happen, because there has to be kids that are being raised feeling secure about themselves, not insecure and over-sexualized. And so we have so much of that. And that is one thing too. It seems like this Pride Parade, all eyes were on, was just the sickness that was going on the streets, and the amount of people that would line their kids up to watch. And I literally just saw this girl, and she was like, telling her story. I was a teenager or whatever. She was a teenager, and her best friend, dad, got a sex change and became his second mom. The two parents stayed together. And so this girl had two moms. One was used to be the dad and all that. And so she thought it was so strange, and she wondered, if this can happen to other people and all this stuff. And so she said that, and then she said, but I'll tell you what it doesn't do. It doesn't make somebody gay. It didn't turn me into a gay person. Gay people are not grooming kids. You can't force a kid to become gay. She turned off comments. I was just astounded. You think because your situation, your story, that just permeates out into everybody else's story. You don't think that is like a little ego going on there. So you think because that was how it happened for you, that's how it happens for everybody else. They just need to look at it different. They need to see things different, right? Go listen to some detransitioning stories. Like, I mean, there's so many stories in the news. I mean, when people come out and say that kind of stuff, it is just like absurd. It's like, where are you? What are you thinking? Like, good. I'm glad that that story is your story, but don't go around trying to tell everybody that this stuff does not go on. The kids are not being groomed. It's going on right before us, right in front of our goddamn faces. And it's like, because people don't want to send their kids to school to have this, grooming going on, and then that means that that they are selfish parents, that they are judgmental because they just want their kids to go and learn how to read and write and do math. So, but that's the where we're at with the Great Divide. I mean, there's some people that say such outlandish things that I'm just like, oh my God, I should just block them. I'm not even following them, not following me, but oh my gosh, these people are wacky, like how they look at things and what they see, and you're like, ugh, these people still going off on Trump and stuff. It's like, oh my God, yeah, all this stuff. And then you got these different people fighting, like big battles going on, and some of the people are people that I interact with on there, and they're battling each other on there. Hateful shit going on. And fuck. And this is all for each person. This is the thing. These people get so in their ego thinking they're right, and they don't even know what is to come. Because what is to come is you're going to get to see that side of yourself, that you think you can override others, that you think you're smarter than others, that you think you're better, that what you think matters more than what others think. It is this view that people get, and it's going to be personalized, very personalized. And it is going to be very hard for people to get through when they don't know how, and they have no foundation to learn how to heal. And then plus it's going to be Western med, it's going to be falling apart at the same time. Always remember, you get the same benefit just talking to anybody. Like I get benefit just talking to Stella. Just, anybody you have to talk. I mean, you could have a fucking pet rock. You can have a pet plant. Sit and talk to the plant and tell them your woes. The journaling is huge. That really helps you get your shit out and help you heal your stuff. And if you are feeling stuck, go back in and read it, the next week. Make it your goal. I'm going to go in and read how I was feeling last week. I'm going to reevaluate, see if I'm understanding things better. You are your own science experiment. You are your the scientist that has to figure out what makes you tick, how you work. And, they've been studying us for a long time, but now it's up to each person to study themselves, to figure themselves out, and to become the most productive and healthiest version of themselves that they can become. But they still have so many people just so trapped, and all these people just locking in. Like, I'm curious seeing how this goes with my daughter, with me saying all these things and her just not even letting it open a little bit, which shows you that they can't hear or see what you're saying. They can hear the words, but they don't make sense until they see what they're supposed to see. Once they see it, then it's going to be, like the dominoes will all fall. And that is what is so curious to me. Like, what was it that you finally saw? What was it that all of a sudden, where your mind started to open? And how did it feel when you realized everything was a lie? And I think, we're going to see that with a lot of people. And I'm not, I think it's going to be clear. The only thing is with my kids is I'm curious is because I've said so many things like, you should be a little prepared for what is to come. So I'm curious. It's so strange. Because even if she says, she doesn't trust the government, she thinks everything's a lie, but then you say something about the flat earth and it's like, no, that's ridiculous. Don't even, people are 100% convinced throughout their spinning in space. I saw this thing about Gaddafi. Now, I already talked about, how upset I was to find out the truth about Gaddafi. Because, and Manson, what they have done, it's the same thing they're doing to Trump. But what they would do, use the media to destroy someone's character and lie about who they are and what they are in order to throw them under the bus as their decoy you know, and the things that Gaddafi had done, so good for the people. Oh my gosh. And Libya is so bad now. It's open slave trading. Like you can go to the open market and buy people. And it was very different when he was doing it. Just like when you see the old pictures of the 70s and stuff of Iran. And then you realize like, well, America has been a front. Australia's a front. London's a front. Switzerland's a front. All these places are fronts. But America is used as like the lion, the head, the beast that is going to take down everyone else and try and control them. And that's the titans. The battle of the titans is America to Russia. And Russia has a good guy on its side that is, you know, I mean, he's made it, you're a terrorist now if you use GMO seeds. Like, he's on the side of nature and fighting against these toxic, you know, chemical slingers out here. And so but the America, you know, is still of the beast. Well, it's all an illusion. It's all a part of the movie because Joe isn't even really Joe. So it's very curious. Like yesterday when he was out talking to this whole table of people and, of course, had a little slip up about all the evil. And it's just going to keep being that. But it's so crazy when you see people see the footage. They get so upset and I'm so mad. And I can't even believe it. Oh my God, I'm so mad. You know, they lose their minds because they're so caught up in thinking that it's real. And so, and it's not real. It's not even really Joe. Like it's all part of the show. It's a part of the show. So, you know, it wakes you up. It gets you to draw in to see because it's going to collapse everything. And I saw somebody saying now that the Fed now is going to be the quantum thing. That when it starts, it's going to be the quantum thing because the quantum it owns all the Federal Reserve, all of the money thing is all switching. And so but I don't know. I don't know if we're going to have to go on it. I don't know. I mean, it's going to become clear and it's supposedly starting July 1st. So like, you know, I don't know. And that is, all of the battle kind of leading up to it. Like it makes you like, do they still have access to the weather machines? The HARP thing is that, you know, they're attacking Texas and, you know, or is this just like the after, you know, chemicals that are still up there circulating are still wreaking havoc? You know, I don't know. The thing I do know though is that this is all just a show, a situation, an experience in order to evolve the soul so that the soul can learn and grow from the experience and the huge impact of why it's necessary for the new age and how it's important for people to start seeing how they can heal themselves and they don't have to die. That's going to be a huge thing about our future is that, you know, death isn't going to be a thing. Like, and it's going to be so much more about using your mind. And, but the thing is where people like, what was this one? Because it really aggravates me when these people, because they're always trying to say about, because I feel like it frustrates people when people try and go and do what they say. And then the people who are trying to do this ridiculousness feel like they're failing, feel like they're not doing well. And that's why I'm always saying anything that I talk about, maybe I'm talking about it on a level because it's really easy for me. So if it's frustrating, don't give up. Don't think you're doing it wrong or you can't do it or anything. You can. It just takes practice. It takes different ways of trying to figure it out. And, you know, talking to other people who have tried to figure it out, like in your communication and understanding and stuff like that, because that has a significant impact on your life. And so the people, now what was I going off on? because the people, oh yeah, okay, so yeah, that girl was something about the same thing with this controlling energy and forcing it, and something what they talk about, like something you want, and the manifesting is the way they twist things around with manifesting and desires and going for what you want, and then it's all about this control and manipulation. It has none of them ever talk about destiny and about the things are set. And to me, it's like, you keep telling people that they have control over things they don't have control over, instead of telling them to find peace of what you don't have control over. And then I think that people are going to feel very frustrated. They're going to keep thinking like, well, I keep trying to manifest $1 million and it's just not working. I just saw this guy who's this giant channeler channeling, Michael and the Anunnaki, all these big channels. And he was sitting there saying, yeah, and I just told the universe, today I will win at the casino. I will win at this casino. And then I went and I won. And I was winning and winning and winning. And so, he's saying that you have to command the energy so that you can get what you want. And make it, do what you want it to do. Same thing as what that girl was saying about she wanted to go out and walk and it was raining. And so she just pulled up at the park and commanded it to stop. And and this guy going to the casino and commanding to win all this money. That's just not how I understand the universe to work. To me, those things are a part of the upside down, a part of what is going to flip. Trying to chase material at a time when we're trying to let go of it. I mean, and you got these super spirits out there telling people to go and, focus on manifesting money, focus on, getting as much as you can, command the money to just fall in your pockets, sing the songs to fall out of the trees and all this stuff. And like I've said before, there's a lot of experiences you come in to experience lack, to experience, because you have parts of you that grow, resilience. There's a lot of parts that grow. There's a lot of, you go find a poor person and a rich person and you put them next to each other, you're going to find that there is a lot of things that this poor person holds that this rich person has no idea about. Those are gifts. Those are your gifts. The things that you hold, the things that you understand that other people don't because they haven't lived your experience. And those are what you're bringing to the table. And those are the things that people have to champion in themselves and quit feeling shame about their experience because it has developed a part of you that other people don't have. And so those experiences aren't that you're doing it wrong. You're not living your best life and stuff. You're living the life you're supposed to be living and making the best of every situation and scenario. I think it's important to go through life with the concept of, not letting life break you. There's so many people out there who have just let it break them. They're angry. They've got so much darkness inside of them due to their anger and resentment over their own experiences. And when you understand what your experiences are personally designed by you for you so that you can grow from them, then it seems counterproductive to have this attitude and sit and whine and cry about it, doesn't it? So it seems a lot more important to really come into tune with yourself and understand what life is all about. Otherwise, you're fighting it. You're fighting against the current. You're fighting against life. You're fighting against your experience. You're fighting against your own growth. And so to me, sitting there telling people, well, listen to what I'm saying right now, and you can go and win at the casino today too. Just do what I say. But anybody who is following that kind of stuff, that is for them to figure out and find, it's a long journey to see the truth, and people have to see it for themselves. If I was supposed to be telling every single person, then, it would be out there more. And when the thing is that they tell me all the time is there's something about timing. There's something about timing. This is, I know we're at the time when they told me this specific time that would be coming, and I know we're at that time. And there's going to be a lot of significant changes. And this is where, before, where we had these influencers that were, had every surgery and makeup and all that stuff. And trying to lead people down that artificial route. Then, so that was, and a lot of people followed. A lot of people followed that. But so when it switches, it is like the people who will be the influencers, they won't have that same beautiful, it won't be that fake ass look. It's going to be depth of character. It's going to be because they went through stuff and they grew, and it's going to be their words that are going to help other people, because they learned how to champion themselves and fight the battles and get through it, and not become jaded in life, and to become healing themselves, which ultimately turns them into a healer. And so but it's going to be a lot of people who have hit rock bottom, a lot of people who went to hell and got themselves back out of it. So it's going to be a lot of ex-drug addicts and ex-abusers. There's going to be a lot of people who are the leaders to help people turn themselves around. But there's still going to be a lot of people who, and I think this is already coming out a lot more too, is a lot of people who have people in their families who are involved in some shady shit. And, it's going to be a personal journey for a lot of different families, a lot of different, and people have got to realize that it's all about seeking the truth. It's all about the exposing and facing the consequences and dealing with yourself. And then, people try and hide things, and they got to look, why am I trying to hide? Who am I trying to hide from? What am I trying to hide? What is wrong with me? Why I have to hide myself? Why can't I accept myself? Why do I think that I have to be perfect? Why do I think I can't make mistakes? And you have to go through that. You have to go through the process to accept yourself. And you got to allow yourself to make mistakes. I mean, what would be the point of living if you're not even allowed to make mistakes? And there's this girl that keeps popping into my head. As I did the cystine drops, yeah, okay, the drops have the things in them. Then the girl, okay, the energy people trying to manipulate the energy, but there was something else with, was it something with food or something? It was coming in while this happens all the time. There's like too many things at once while you're trying to talk, but you can't see them all. And then it you get to the one thing, but then you can't see the other ones. It's like you passed them or something. So it's like you gotta go backwards and try and see, where was I? Okay, so that one video of that girl who was talking about, I've seen the craziest shit with the animals. Crazy motherfucking shit with the animals. It makes you sick. It literally makes me sick to my stomach. The thing with some deers and shit, that is footage. It's sick, man. I don't know what the fuck. It's the goddamn poisons. And I'm telling you, they're fucking spraying them on us out here by the mountains. I think that is, they want to kill a bunch of people in the mountains and then have less people and then hurt them. And, but it's affecting the deers a lot. And they're doing weird stuff, really weird stuff. Like, it's horrible because as a neuro nurse, I can see what's happening. Oh, it makes me sick. So, I mean, they're like spinning their head around and they're falling. They're trying to walk and they're falling. And oh, it's fucked, man. God. God damn, I can't wait to get through this part. It's so horrible. All these people, what they're doing to their kids, to their dogs, to their animals, but then you have the other side that's out there just trying to save the world, rescuing the animals, rescuing dogs. You have fucking person after person, doing themselves in, and it's just trauma after trauma in people's families, and it's a lot of pain right now of what people are going through. And, I wish that people could see and understand what I see and understand of why. And then if they did, it will help them. And, and each person, depending on how you are connected to your guides, because my guides have totally walked me through the whole fucking thing throughout this whole experience. And so I just know that, you can, that they tell you, like why you're doing, like they told me I needed to get my male and female into balance. They told me I needed to do boundaries. They taught, like, all the different things. Like, I'll be going through something and I'll be frustrated and I'll be like, what in the hell? Why is this happening? And they'll tell you. Get to the point of asking, what in the hell is going on? Why is this happening? What is it I need to see? What is it you're trying to show me? What do I need to heal? What do I need to change? What do I need to do to make my life better, make it different? And it all has to do with facing yourself. It all has to do with people being so driven to be liked that they were willing to put themselves aside, to hide themselves in order to be accepted, they thought, because of the strict rules that this habitat was putting out on people in order to control them. And so that they thought that they had to be a certain way, but that was all a part of the illusion. That is all a part of what is falling apart. And then that is the part where people got to see, I didn't have to be somebody different. I could have been myself. Yeah, I was. And I could have been always just showing, my own weirdness and been okay with it. And instead of trying to change. So it's that part inside them that they're going to feel bad about. Like, why was I so weak? Why did I feel like I had to please this person? And everything is going to always make somebody feel like they're broken, especially because there's so much about us being broken. And so everybody's going to feel more broken. But it isn't about being broken. It's about learning to love and accept yourself. And it's a journey. And because once you learn to love and accept yourself, then you can go out into the world and make the world a better place. And when you're going around hating yourself and miserable in the world, then it's, we've got a toxic world. And that is what we have been, trying to survive in. These controlling motherfuckers trying to make us sick all the goddamn time. And then all the people who feel bad about themselves, who are miserable in life, who are hateful and toxic to one another, who divide on every little thing. And so all those pieces have to come together. The people who divide have to see there's nothing to divide about, that we are all the same. We have the same goals. We all want the same kinds of things. And there's so much talk about the lab-grown meat now. And I'm wondering now, is it going to be where people are going to go out and go into restaurants because they're going to keep on going, and there's no telling, how many people we've served, because they're serving you, people all the time. And then, but, not all of them know, and some of them maybe just sells a little bit. But we've all eaten so much of it. I think we would probably think it tastes weird without it. So I'm just wondering if people are going to go to restaurants, with this new dog. Because I don't want to go to one. I went to that guy's little food truck, and I know, he's probably got, he's got to cut costs. He's probably not having the best stuff in there. But I do want to support him. And it was, we all come up with our own rationalizations for the things we do. So I don't have to rationalize anything I do to anybody if I don't have to do it to myself. So just let go of shit. You don't have to explain. So many people just explain. and always like, oh, I'm sorry. Don't look at me. I'm just such a mess today. Oh my God, my hair is such a mess. I just don't even look at me. I just got out of the shower. I just did this. And there's all constant video after video after video, which I relate. I've definitely gotten out of the shower before and been like, oh my God, I got to say this right now. But I don't know why they're always like apologizing for themselves. And like, that is something that is programmed into people to feel like that they're not worthy or something. They're not good enough. And so people, that's reprogramming yourself to see that you don't need to apologize for yourself. But people apologize to themselves because they want to be accepted. They want people to accept them. Oh yeah, on the family one, there was, my daughter talked about Allie, and what was it? I've sent a couple videos now. And who knows what they're going to say, but it was, I sent a video about the Madeleine McCain and John Bonet and the people who, the Podestas and the Ghislaine being there, with the pictures and stuff. And then a red shoe thing. And then I said, look up what the red shoes is all about. And then I was going through in another video from the same girl. Somebody must have asked her, what's the red shoes all about? So she did a video. So I sent them that one too. And, I'm sure it's going to annoy him, but I feel like it's a little, it's so close. This isn't like 2020 where I keep trying to wake them up and get them to see. Like, at this point, they already know I'm a total whack as far as they're concerned. And I'm going to say the stuff I say that they think I'm crazy and just believe anything I hear on the internet. So that's why I was like so intrigued. So Allie, really, that's so interesting. But I think, once the mind trap is opened a little bit, is able to accept more information. And so I'm just hoping that it just hits right, and that they start seeing, because the whole thing is just to get their mind to open to the fact that everything's a lie, everything is fake and false, and is so to kind of lessen the blow, because everybody's about to see it. And I've talked about it so much with my kids, I can't imagine. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I think it's going to affect people at different degrees. Like, there's definitely going to be people that family members have tried, and it can be in my own family, and they're going to just be more irritated, or they're going to fight against it more. Like, it's going to be, there's not like one set thing. There's not like one set thing you can do and for sure have this perfect outcome. No, because it's not about that. It's about dealing with the situation. It's about learning from what's going on. It's about the interaction with you and this person, and the resolution that you are able to achieve, the resolve. And there's a lot of this stuff, see, that some of us that we don't know when it flips, like, the role, the karmic shit going on. Like, there's a lot of karmic shit going on. So, and it can be like, for instance, that somebody did something bad to you in a past life, and so their attitude towards you, or maybe you did something to them, but their attitude towards you, some of this stuff is hard to explain, but it is like from life to life, it is like this balance, counterbalance, balance, counterbalance, it just goes back and forth, trying to rebalance itself. The same way in life, how like you have to just constantly be staying in your balance. And so the micro macro of the soul so the micro macro of the soul gets to where it is it has to rebalance itself through all these different lives. And so the people you're interacting with, and that's why I say you shouldn't be cutting these people out of your lives, because there's a balance, counterbalance that has to occur. And this time right now is for it. But you can see the dark energy wants you to not feel or not heal those things. So it will keep that division. It will keep feeding you the thing to keep you angry, to keep you divided, because it doesn't want you to work that stuff out. Because I think that the more that holds you on in the 3D, the more that will hold you back from your ascension, because you can't hold on to the 3D pain and suffering and move out of the 3D pain and suffering. You have to let go of it. You have to let it go. You have to heal it in order to move out of that perception of life. Because as long as you're perceiving life through that pain and suffering acknowledgement, then you are trapped into that way of being. And so there's no other way to get out of it without healing it, without going through the process. And so, I don't know how many people, like the ascension thing is going to be all different degrees. And so it's kind of like the evolved, you get your own soul. It's your own soul's destination. It's your own way of being. It's you who does the work. It's you who determines where the work stops for you and where it starts for you. So you are the one who has to, it's all about you deciding about you and the work you put into you and how do you look at what this person thinks, or do you look what you think? Do you worry about what this person thinks of you, or you worry about what you think of you? And, so it's all about getting into that. But when you get into that part, then that is the ascension beyond the 3D, because the 3D isn't holding you back anymore. And so, I don't know. I know that there is, like I have said, like we're on this bridge. It is a dark bridge with the light at the end of the tunnel, but you can't get off the bridge carrying the baggage. You have to let go of the stuff in order to enter the pearly gates, the gates of heaven, the heavenly gates. The heaven concept is because you are let go of the pain and suffering. So how can you carry the pain and suffering and go into the pearly gates if you are still carrying it? Because it doesn't make sense. You have to release it in order to go through the heavenly gates and to walk onto this earth of because it's going to be like heaven on earth, where everything is going to be but the heaven on earth, the ascension it's almost like what we think of as dying. But see, death is a created concept. So we think of it, we have to be dead, but it is 3D is what makes you think you're alive. So you have to let go of that concept. Once you can let go of that concept and you realize you're not alive, that these problems aren't real, all the things you're trying to scurry around and do don't matter. Then once you can let go of that, then you can enter the gates of heaven. Because then you've released all of this pain and suffering. You've taken all of that and let it go. So that is what I'm saying. It doesn't, when we get to the other side, like you would have to be a certain degree in your healing. I'm not going to say you have to completely be to the point of, because like I've been doing this a long time, and it's a constant. It's a day to day for a long time. And so, and things are moving fast. Like whatever's going to go on, like I think that there's going to be, this drama with the money and the power and stuff like that, which is going to lead to our sky opening and all of that stuff, and the solar flash, like all of these things is all going to go together, and it's coming in super fast. And so, I always say that's burping thing. I would say that you have to go through the all the healing and stuff. and as long as you're focused on your healing, like if you really are like, man, I want to ascend, I want to be in the age of Aquarius, I want to go and live in, all that stuff. The desires in you. And see, this is the thing people don't understand about manifesting too. It's like, okay, so was your desire just like, oh, I'm just going to go win some money at the casino? Like, it's kind of, the whole thing seems a little toxic to me. But, it's an evolution for everybody's own decision of what. But definitely a casino and winning money is 3D, like 100%. So, okay, so if you go, what is that? So if you go to the casino and all of that stuff, that's like keeping you back in the 3D. It's like letting go of the 3D trappings, letting go of the material world and all of that stuff. And as your soul ascends and lets go of that stuff, it goes into its space of like dead space, like what we think of as when we're dead. That space where you are yourself, but you're not in this game, you're not in the story. So it's kind of like, to me, the age of Aquarius is kind of like, it's like the earth is becoming like another heaven, another heavenly body, another, like I've said before, like you go to the Pleiades or some of these other places, these people like Anunnaki, they've been around. There's the same beings that have been around the whole time. And so in time and space is not what we think. Like we try and, count time and space. But so they, and that is what it's going to be like for Earth. Earth will move into that kind of category where the beings are advanced. They don't die, and they travel, and they can go to other places like this, because there will be more places like this that will be for 3D experience, other games to be able to go in and experience the game. It's kind of like Jumanji or something. That's funny, yeah, when they did Jumanji. So that is really what life is really like. It is like you just go into that game. What is that other movie too? That one with The Rock. And they all go into that game. They put this stuff out in our movies and stuff. But see, when it doesn't click in people, they think, we're so stupid. They just think we're all so stupid. But anyways, so when it goes, but the thing is we're going to be stupid to being tricked, because it's not in our reference, because we are kind, loving beings, and we want to come together and stuff, and they've taken our insecurities and they've created all this chaos and division. So, but the new Earth, the Earth that I just saw these migrants. This was kind of cool too, because this was a guy in Texas, and these bunch of young guys coming across the border down there, and they were coming from Egypt. They definitely did not seem like guys that came here for monkey business. So they seemed so excited, so happy. And the guy said, "How long have you been walking?" And they said, 40 days. And he said, "Where do you want to go?" And the one said, he's going to New York. He's so excited. He wants to go be in New York. Another guy wants to go to Pennsylvania. And they're just, it just seemed like young hitchhiker guys that were just so excited to be in America. And it definitely didn't seem like, be scared, they're probably going to come in and raid. No, those people who were brought in to disrupt us, a lot of them were coming through tunnel. A lot of them have been here for a while, committing crimes and chaos and stuff too. I mean, I think there legit is a lot of people who are trying to come like, wow, I could just go to America right now, and they're just letting people in. People are, hell yeah, I want to go to America, because a lot of people think America is so great, because their countries have been decimated by American government and the globalist, like we're a front. So anyways, drawing these people in, but they want to draw in more people because they think that they can manipulate them into, well, it isn't even just manipulating them. That's a joke. They don't give a fuck. All they're going to do is just tell us, the people who want to vote in some certain person, that the other people wanted the other person. And since they're allowed to vote now, it's okay. They're allowed to, I think in Illinois, you can be an illegal and you can be a policeman now. So all this stuff, all the absurdity, just get outraged and get people to question their morality, question their own moral compass, to really start understanding. And there's another thing too, an underlying thing that we all need to see, is that we shouldn't be controlled in our movement. We should be able to move freely. We should be able to just get up and go to another country if we want. Where they came up with it, they can control us with borders and papers and stuff like that, is absurd. And so we have got to see that we should be able to travel freely. They shouldn't be in control. And so that is a part of also in your moral compass of awakening, that you've got to be able to awaken to, not just be stuck on your biases and your judgment towards the people crossing, but the human rights of we should be able to do that too. But, Americans are trapped into their jobs, trapped into their rent, trapped into their leases, trapped into their desire to have a high credit score. All of those things, the trappings, they trap themselves. And then they get mad because other people don't feel trapped and are out there just traveling. And so it's a change. Maybe you don't need to have that fancy of a house. Maybe you just need to have, a van or something. You got to start recognizing what it is that you want. What do you want out of life? What do you want out of you? Not be like, well, I'm married to this person. We've been together for 10 years and it sucks. We hate each other. We don't spend time together. And all I want to do is go hang out with my friends. Well, and then it's time for you guys to set each other free. So you can go out and grow and heal and, come across the person who is more in alignment with you. And you will cross paths. It's just the way it goes. And the person who is in your alignment will cross your path. They will, just how nature works. It's how the universe works. You don't have to force anything. You don't have to go out there and try and make your life happen. And that is an important thing to me the whole time. What I've been trying to say, which I will say a lot more once we get to the other side of it, is manifesting, is they tell you, they put the desire. Some of this stuff, I would have not thought of this shit by myself. They start telling you, and I have seen in my own how it was like seeds were being planted for years in advance. But then when they start showing you, you are the one, you have to be comfortable on that timeline. That's where you will jolt back to the other timeline, where you have to go across and meet more karmic people, more people that are there to teach you your lessons so you can learn to love yourself, so that you can get back onto that train that is heading you towards your dreams and desires. But your dreams and desires, they're implanted, like your higher self put them in there. So your dreams and desires are a part of you, and you will see them. So to me, it was, them telling me things and showing me things all throughout the thing. And then once they started getting me to go towards them, and like I said, there was a certain point where I felt like I walked through a door. It was weird. It was like I did something and I totally felt like, oh, everything just changed. I could feel it. And nothing had changed, but I could feel everything had changed. And it's like once you go in, it's already in movement. And so your movement is already going towards your goals. You're along for the ride, and they'll direct you. Do this, do that, say this, say that, go here, go there. They'll direct you. And they'll tell you things. And when they're not talking, it's because you need to figure something out for yourself. Because they're always telling you things. They're always explaining to you why things are happening and how you should do it and where you should go. And like I said, when they're not, it's because there's some other reason. When they go silence, it's because you need to have that experience fresh. There's something that has to occur without them narrating. And so, don't feel, because sometimes I think like people will be like, well, they went through something and they felt totally alone. But you're not alone. Just because they're silent doesn't mean you're ever alone. They're always with you. They're just not, they just have to allow you to see things for yourself and to experience things for yourself. That is part of, if you went through this and you went to your life review and all your guys were standing there and they had, helped you through all the thing, you wouldn't be like all excited, thanks. You'd be like, more irritated because you lost all your lessons. And then you'd have to go back in and go do all this hellacious stuff again to learn what you came to learn. And so, that is what I'm saying too, is like as the conscious being, to realize you don't run in and rescue and save people all the time. You have to allow people to save themselves. It's a part of the development of self. And so, is the person who's always having to save, the savior complex, the ego mind, that I'm better than you, even though they don't want to face that part. They feel the burden of I'm the one who has to save you. I see these things playing out in people's lives, and I can see where they need to you got to allow people to fail. And even though it hurts and it's hard to watch people fail, and it's scary because you don't know what's going to happen. What are they going to do with it? Are they going to make it? But you got to realize that this is all a game. It's the game is the soul is trying to see for itself if it can make it. And then it's the laziness of the dependency of the fear is where it holds on to somebody else save me. But it doesn't want somebody else to save them. It wants to save itself. And that's why if you get to your life review and you constantly have somebody else saving you, that is this karmic thing. That's why you have to go back in so that you can replay it again, because you get yourself caught up in these things. And that is why you got to be so much more of aware in this process of your relationships where they want to cut people out of their lives, that you need to learn how to manage these relationships. Learn how to set your boundaries. Learn how to be you, even when people can't see you, or you feel like you can't be true to yourself. You got to keep being true to yourself. You got to keep showing yourself. And if people don't accept you, then it's their part of their process that they have to learn about how they were so judgmental, how they were hateful. Like they have to look at those sides of themselves. You're not doing them any favor by hiding yourself so that they don't see this side of themselves. They are dependent on you to be true to yourself. And so it's important for you to constantly be going out there and being your true self. And that stood out to me a lot during 2020, when I started realizing that I was having people who were mad at me and thought I was stupid and crazy and all of that stuff, where I started seeing like, if you think I'm crazy and why would I hide myself? Like, it was kind of like the things that I would say that were, where it became the thing was when I saw that Trump wasn't the bad guy. Once I saw he was being used by the media to control the people. And, once I started telling people, everybody thought I was they couldn't know. The hate I got from saying that they were lying about Trump, I couldn't believe it. And that is where I started seeing like, oh, okay. So, if you're going to hate me because if I see something different, then it's not real, and then you don't really respect me. You don't really. So that's where I was like, I'm just going to be fucking showing myself now. Like, fuck this. And that's when I was on Twitter. And I knew there was people who saw my account. And even when I went on TikTok, I still well, recently, you know, my daughter still was like, because one of her friends follows me and she's like, she loves your cooking videos. I haven't done a cooking video in so long, because that was when I very first went back on TikTok, because when I got kicked off the first time, they told me I would never be able to be back on. And then when my daughter did that video about me and it went viral, like, I don't know, it's like 7 million people. It was like, I don't even know at this point. I don't even know if she, I think she still has her TikTok. I don't know. But anyways, that video, and all these people wanted to talk to me and meet me and all this stuff. So she's like, you got to start your TikTok back. I'm like, I can't. I'm kicked off forever. And that was sharing videos of the flat earth and Stephen. I would share initiation. I would film the show in 3-minute segments, and then I would put it on my channel. And I would also talk, but there was so much stuff. And so anyways, they took my video, or they took my channel down. And so then when I went back, and I was like, man, I don't want to go back to that toxic environment. I'll just go back and I'll do Kelly Hart loves. I'll just spread love. I'll just be like, Kelly Hart loves this. Kelly Hart loves that. So that was my, I'm just going to spread the love. And I would do a lot of cooking ones. And so did lots of cooking videos, because I am a good cook. I do cook a lot of good stuff. And then, so I did a lot of videos. And so she was like, she loved those videos. But she's like, man, you're constantly now coming on like 20 times a day on your TikTok videos. And like they want me to change, go back to the cooking thing. And I'm not going back. When I switched was when YouTube shut me out for that 1 week, and they wouldn't let me video. And so I was pissed, and I went on TikTok and I went on a rant. And that is when it was like a huge change. That's what people wanted to hear about. I started having all these people following me, all these people coming on and wanting to talk to me. And then it was going like, I thought, oh, okay, so this is going good for a second. And then they totally censored me. But they didn't kick me off. But I mean, 200 views a day. It's, I don't know, it's just absurd. And so it's like, and the 200 views go real quick. It's like, within a couple hours, I've gotten all my views. I don't know. I'm just sick of the censorship. I'm sick of being controlled. I'm sick of the whole fucking thing. But so them, getting so mad at me and saying all this rude shit when I said Trump was good, because it was, I think, the middle of 2021 before I even had people even starting to talk to me again. Everybody was being such a dick to me all through 2020 for sure. And I was so isolated and stuff. But there was a lot of learning, man. If I go back to all those videos, there was a lot that I was seeing and understanding about what was going on through all of that. And so it's just important to not hide yourself, and they're going to have to face those sides of themselves. They're going to have to see how hateful they were towards me over being biased and hateful towards somebody who was trying to do good because they were being tricked. And they have to face those sides of themselves. Why were they being tricked? What was it? How would they see that side, not the other side? They have to face that inside themselves to see why they could see this and not see that. And each person has to do it for themselves. So we have all that stuff to go through, and that is just getting started. But I don't think people have to all be to the top of their healing to get off of the bridge. You got to let go of your shit. You can't be dragging, a bunch of old shit, toxic shit. You won't get off. But if you have still, some insecurities and you still feel a certain way or whatever, as long as you are really actively doing your healing, I think that will make a difference. I think that would be, I think the people who won't be able to go would be the people who, are shallow and superficial and don't give a fuck. Don't give a fuck about other people. And don't give a fuck about, they just want to live the 3D, shallow kind of existence. So those people, I think they'll be at the back of the line. I don't know. There'll probably be one or two scrappers that'll be able to do it by watching everybody else heal and stuff and be able to pull themselves out. But, this is going to be a definite, kind of like passing the baton. It's like the people up front. This is what the concept of the way showers, the people up front who have been doing all of their healing and working on themselves and getting themselves to feel good. And so then the people all behind them, they get to, so the people at the way back, see, they get the people at the front that they can't see as well, but they get the people in the middle who have been affected by these people. So it all goes like a domino. But not every single person in every single group would be able to do it. Just like when I say about the 3 little pigs, like there'll be some of the 3 little pigs that built their house with hay. And they won't be there, but there'll be some who will still stay. It will just be, a lot of stuff they'll have to overcome. The same with this people with the sticks. Everybody, the ones with the bricks, everybody has got things that they're here to learn. Nobody is above the learning. Nobody is, the chosen. They will have no experience. They're just here to be perfect. No, you champion yourself is what is the creation of that idea of that perfect being, that superhero self of you, the warrior inside of you. So it is, it's each person, for themselves. And as why it's very important to be really focused on yourself. So many people are focused on so many other things. They don't give themselves that time. And it's important to give yourselves that time. Even if it is just a short amount of time a day, give yourself time every day to sit. And to me, the important thing would be to sit in reflection and communication. So not just sit and beat yourself up thinking about what you did today and how you could have done that different. You should have done that. You should have said this. You should have done that. Not that. And when you go into reflection, you think about a scenario, something that bothered you or whatever. And so you go into that deeper. You could try and understand, why did I do it that way? Why did I think of it that way? Why did I, and that is where you start with your communication with your guides, where you're asking them to help you see what you don't see, to show you, to walk you through it, to assist you. You got to ask. They're not going to just step in and do it without you asking. Mine, the stuff with them talking, like that's what mine is different. Like, because like I said, they started talking to me when I was little, and I don't know the conversations before that. Like, was there a point, was I 2 years old and they say, hey, you want to talk to us? And I said, hey, yeah, I want to talk to you. Like, I don't know. I think it is a part of, it was always supposed to happen that way. My guys were always supposed to start talking to me at that time. And I think it has to do with this time, is to help people to understand these relationships with your guides and how to use it to your benefit and how to approach life in a different way. But it is important for you, because even when I'm struggling, like I'll be doing something like around the house, like a big one was putting in that light in the kitchen was so fucking hard. I couldn't believe it. And I was, oh my God, I was getting so frustrated. I was like practically in tears. My arms are above my head. I'm standing on this thing. I can't get the wires to all get in there. It's all, I was getting so frustrated. And then I'll start getting mad at my guides. I'll start getting mad at them. I'll start yelling at them, why aren't you guys helping me? And then I'll just be like, well, you hadn't asked. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm asking, please show me or tell me, hold something, do something. And they always do. They always do. And they will just come in and magic will occur. And so those are the development that you can get with your guides. It's not pretend. It's not made up. It's not in my head. It's real. And there's so many people who don't realize. And as I see these people like starting to freak out as they start to realize that this magical world that they exist in, this supernatural, mystical world, and they have always thought it was, I don't know, something different. And they're starting to freak out over all of these different things occurring and happening, and synchronicities and signs and all this stuff is starting to freak them out. And so that right there is so you can see why you have a veil, why you don't see everything from the very beginning, because it's so much to take in, and it is counterproductive when you need to focus on what you need to focus on. So that is why you don't know everything when you come into these certain lives, so that you can get the full impact of the lesson. So you're not just focused on all this other stuff. And so don't feel bad if you didn't understand the world was magical. I was supposed to understand that. That's always been a part of my life. I was supposed to understand that. And I was supposed to be able to come out and say all this stuff, and, but I'm not crazy. Because people think, I've seen video, I saw a video yesterday of somebody in lives, and talking about like schizophrenic people and stuff like that, and people who need to be on drugs and all this stuff. It's like people don't, the whole thing, autism, all of this shit. The autism, yeah, there could be that we are all different. We're all weird creatures in these bodysuit things, in these spacesuits. And so trying to think that we all have to be like, not be attention deficit, not be this, not be all that stuff, is ridiculous. But there's a whole manipulation behind diagnosing, so that there's pharmaceutical relief. And then they also all the stuff about all the knocks from the time of birth is, people go start noticing, so all these people who were saying their kids went autistic, now everybody's autistic. Like, put two and two together. Like, start thinking things through. Start seeing things deeper. And start realizing. But in all those things, attention deficit, all the things, Tourette's, everything that it all has to do with you managing yourself. Like, you can, even diabetes, all of these things, we can manage all of these things. They teach us and train us that we can't, but we can. You can manage your mind. You can pull everything that you think is wrong with you or broken with you. You can manage it. It's about finding balance in yourself, and that ability to, catch your thoughts and to understand yourself on a deeper level, so that you understand what motivates you, rather than just being reactive in life due to your own pain. And so, but it all has to do with, because the 3D, the pain, the trauma, all of that stuff is the bounding, the problems in your relationships with your family. So if you don't spend the time fixing that stuff, it's going to hold people back, I think. It's going to hold people back. All these people who think it's the best thing is to just stop talking to people in their family. To me, that's going to hold you back from your growth. What you need to learn is setting boundaries, being honest, being truthful, putting yourself out there, and not caring if they don't accept it, not caring if they don't like it, because you care about yourself and like yourself and know your truth. Don't bend over. Don't take a knee to this energy, and don't think like they got people thinking like there's really good guys and bad guys. No, we're both. You are the good guy and you are the bad guy. Just go back over all of the relationships you've ever had in your life. You're going to find where you were the bad guy. You have hurt people before. It's just the way it is. And it should help you to be able to understand, so that when somebody hurts you, that you don't just get stuck on, well, they're just a bad person. That you can see, oh, they played that role in my life so that I could see, so I could experience, so I could grow. And so, and there's so much toxicity with parent relationships. And there's just so much that, I see all these young moms struggling with there was so much struggle, but it just made me think, how many of these moms who are struggling with being new moms are resentful and holding anger towards their own mom, and won't speak to their own mom. And so, and that to me is a sign from the universe. The universe is trying to show you so you can see. But to me, it's vital for people to heal those relationships. But there's a definite thing where you have to set boundaries. And for me, with my dad, it was definitely years that I didn't see him or talk to him. Like, I would tell him if he was actively drinking, I don't want to talk to you. I spent my whole childhood sitting and counseling him in his drunkenness, and always trying to uplift him and help him and build him up and get him to where, in the morning he could get up and make a change, and every day it was the same thing. And I found that very sad, is somebody who can never create that change for themselves to do something different. But I know he came in to play a role. I know he's not just a bad guy. And so because he taught me a lot of good things too, but he definitely gave me a lot of reference of other things. So, but for me, yeah, I definitely had periods of time where I didn't talk to him. And if he was drunk or something, I definitely wouldn't. But we didn't even live in the same state. He didn't even, he only met my kids a couple of times. Because there's no way I was ever going to live alone with my kids, for God's sakes. That's another thing. Like, you got to set those boundaries. No, you're not allowed to be around my kids alone. No. And every person has to figure out their own. And every person is dealing with different toxicity in these relationships. But bet your ass that they go back to other past lives where you have been just as much an asshole as what they are. You're learning together, no matter how much you want it to not be that. You are learning together. You're growing together. And bet your ass you get over there to the life review, if you've blown off your mom or your dad or your grandpa or whoever, you're never going to speak to them again because of something they said or did. And that is completely each person's own thing too. Like, if you've been severely abused by this person, you for your own sanity or whatever, you have to figure out your stuff. But these relationships and stuff, you have to heal them and let go of them, because they bind you, and you think it's just this life, this experience where you got fucked over. But no, these go life after life after life. You fuck each other over back and forth, back and forth. So it's fallen on, you, where you're the one feeling fucked right now. But believe you me, this goes on life after life of fucking each other over. So you have to just get over it. You have to somehow figure out how to bypass this stuff and see it deeper for your own peace, for your own peace of mind. And it has to do with forgiveness. It has to do with you building yourself. And really, boundaries is that risk of being vulnerable, being out there, being seen, and being true to yourself. And when somebody goes up against your boundaries, to say, hey, no, you can't do that. Whatever that is. I mean, we got wackadoo fucking moms out there right now making boundaries with infants. They're not allowed to touch their bodies. So, but everybody has their own consequence. There's nothing that you can do, not a goddamn thing you can do in life that you will not see the consequence. You will not see the other side. Everything has a balance, counterbalance, balance, counterbalance. It just goes. That's the karmic. That's what people think of. Karma. You've got bad karma. It's just the balance has to keep shifting to create balance. Otherwise, everything would be chaos. That's the natural order of the universe. And another important part of the natural order of the universe is destiny and your ability to accept and to go along for the ride. So anyways, those are my takes for the day on what I think. And it seems like there's definitely shit going on. I mean, Joe, it's all right there. It's all right at the surface. And even if they keep trying to be like, oh, well, we're not going to do anything about that. That is just to get the people to see the corruption in our system. So, they keep bringing it and showing it, bringing it and showing it. It can be very frustrating because you feel like, oh, see, it's not going to go anywhere again. I get this from my mom. Oh, no, it's not going to go anywhere. They're going to just get away with it forever. And it's like, no, they're not. They really are going to go down. This is really a time of change. And there's nothing that you need to worry about. This is really the end of them. It's just a long, drawn out process to witness, but it's drawn out and long like that to help people wake up. So that, because everybody's been in this deep slumber of this mind control, and the veils are all have to be lifted, because we are going into this other existence where we will be this, the new earth will be of a heavenly place. And so if you are not of a heavenly mindset, start working on it and trying to get yourself in that position if you want to be in the age of Aquarius. Otherwise, you can just go back and go in more of these lives, you know. I mean, it's work and it's hard, but, you know, they really are short. Like, we think that they are hard and long and stuff like that, but you really do learn a lot. And it really is important to your soul. The learning, the transitioning, the development, you know, not skipping around. You can't just buy a gold chain and call yourself cool. You know, you have to do the work. So anyways, talk to you later.